Welcome to the 2020 Super Bowl preview. This is the champ speaking, and you've seen that last year. It's back again this year. The champs are here again in the finals. We won last year. We are facing the Blue Ghost, Joe and John, this year. And first, like to bid farewell to the two teams that lost in the semifinals. George lost again to the tremendous franchise. They lost last year in the finals. They lost this year in the semifinals. They actually won all three regular season games, so they can hold on to that. But when it comes to playoff games versus tremendous, George is no match. We'd like to thank Landry's as well, who did not win a playoff game this year and had the best regular season. They have a very bright future with Jeffrey at the helm and Robert as the Jerry Jones GM. But they had a great year. They had the most points, the best record, but did not win last week in the semis. So it is the champs versus Ghost. I will be breaking down position by position. We'll also look at the benches as well. So let's jump right into it. So we have Aaron Rodgers playing Tennessee. He's home versus Tennessee. Joe actually has both quarterbacks in this game. It is a very high total for the week. It's almost close to 60. He's got Rodgers. He's got Tannehill. I put Rodgers up here as the quarterback. Tannehill is the flex. And Rodgers had an MVP season. He's amazing. I actually got an offer for Cam Newton for Rodgers that I did not accept from the Blue Ghost. That was a mistake because Rodgers is amazing. He goes up against Goff, who is playing Seattle. Seattle has a terrible pass defense. Goff, I think, will have a good game, but he's no match for Rodgers. We're going to go give the edge to Rodgers. Next, we have Chubb versus the Jets. I think it's a great spot for Chubb. The Jets actually won last week, and I don't think it helps Chubb because the Jets will just keep winning now that they're not going to get the number one pick. Jacksonville will never win. They'll avoid that, so they do get the number one pick. And the Jets really are going to try hard, or harder than they would have if they didn't win last week. So Chubb is still a great running back. He does have Kareem Hunt that plays a lot, but it's a good running back right there. Aaron Jones versus Tennessee. I have to go with Aaron Jones. There is no more Williams backup. He's injured. It's going to be mostly Aaron Jones. The Packers are playing for the path all the way through Green Bay throughout the playoffs. So they will be trying very hard to win this game. Again, Chubb is very good. I'm going to give the edge still to Aaron Jones. Because, again, he's the only guy and there is no Kareem Hunt that he has to deal with. Next, we have Akers, who is injured. Now, the champs drafted Akers and cut him. About 2 or 3 weeks ago when Akers started playing, we actually bid $3. Joe bid $4. He did get Akers. He didn't get much out of Akers since he got him. He never used him. Last week when he used him, he only got 6 points out of him. And now he is out. So we're going to erase him. We don't know who the running back is going to be for Joe. And we'll get into that in a moment. First, I'd like to speak about Montgomery. Montgomery, after Lamar Jackson, in the last 3 weeks, is the number one fantasy points getter. More than Derrick Henry, more than anyone you could think about in the league. He is the number 2 after Lamar Jackson. So number 1 non-quarterback player, points-wise, over 25 points a game average in the last 3 weeks, closer to 30 the last 3 weeks. He's going to get the check. I don't care who goes in here, so let's speak about this. He does have Zeke, who he could slide in right here. On his bench, he doesn't have any other bench running back. Let's talk about these running backs here. This is a list of 4 running backs. Last week, Tony Pollard was picked up. He's Zeke's backup. He had a great week. He was the number 1 running back last week. He belongs to the champs. Sony Michel, picked up right before kickoff last week. Starting running back for New England, belongs to the champs. 2 players were picked up last night in waivers. One of them was Ahmed. $7 Joe bid on them. Or the Ghost bid on them. $7 on this player. Joe only had 8. He bid 7. The champs had the most money. King of Fab bid 9 outbid him. He goes here, the Miami running back. Wilson. Mostert is out on San Francisco. Wilson is the running back for San Francisco. They don't have a great quarterback. They don't have a great team. He's still the starting back. Purchased last night for $4 by, you guessed it, the Champs. All 4 starting running backs belong to the Champs. Who he's going to put in here? Right now it's only Zeke. We will see. Montgomery is definitely the winner there anyway. Now let's get to the wide receivers. McLaurin. His quarterback decided to go to a strip club without a mask. I don't know what he's going to do. Plays Carolina. DJ Moore in the same game. Plays Washington. This now has become a very defensive game. I don't know what's going to happen with these 2 players. How much are they going to throw the ball? I cannot tell you. He's got T.Y. Hilton, who's gone down after 2 or 3 weeks ago when he finally got hot. Did practically nothing last week. Going up against the top defense in Pittsburgh, coming off of a loss against Cincinnati. I don't love any of the 3 receivers. You have Keenan Allen. If he plays, I'm not sure. He didn't play last week. If he plays, right now he doesn't have any designation of being injured. Playing Denver. Check him off. Allen Robinson. The resurrected Chicago Bears with Trubinsky are rolling. Have won a few in a row at least. Scoring a lot of points. Playing Jacksonville, who will not want to win this game at all. Check him off. Cooper Kupp. There is no more Akers on the Rams. They hardly have a running game. He is a possession receiver. He's slot. He catches 4, 5, 10-yard passes. He'll have 8 to 10 receptions this game against Seattle. Check him off. That's all 3 receivers. Not even a question against those receivers. Let's go to tight end. We have Noah Fant, Santa Claus as they're calling him. Perfect for the Blue Ghost, whose nickname is Santa Claus. Santa Claus. Playing the Chargers, it's a great matchup. He's a great tight end, fantastic tight end. There's only 1 or 2 tight ends in the league I feel are better than him. Kelsey and Waller would be the other one. I have to give the check to this. Don't love Miami, but Miami is number 1 against the run. So if Oakland's going to score, it's going to be somehow. And Waller is their best option. Mariota is the quarterback. He loved Waller last week. I think he goes back to Waller, and he gets the obvious check. Flex, Eckler, running back. Playing Denver. Denver gave up 180 yards plus to Buffalo, who doesn't run the ball at all with Singletary. Denver was burned for 180 yards last week. Eckler's going to go nuts. He'll have at least a touchdown and 100 yards. Tannehill against Green Bay. Green Bay is terrible against the run. They're not so terrible against the quarterback. Not an easy pick between Eckler and Tannehill. I don't know how cold it's going to be in Green Bay. We'll see. It's a night game as well. I'm going to give a slight edge to Eckler. I think they're both going to be good. He'll have about 13, 14, maybe 15. I think Eckler could have close to 20. So that's that. Myers, great offense in Seattle. They'll open it up. They'll have a great game with the Rams. He's a great kicker. I love Koo, as you know. I've been screaming Koo all year. He's the number 1 fantasy kicker in our league. I don't love the matchup against Kansas City, but you have to start him. So he never misses. They have a good offense, Atlanta. They don't have a great running game, but they have a good offense. They have Ridley. They have good quarterback. So I think they'll move the ball. If he gets within 55, 60 yards, he doesn't miss, and he'll just keep kicking them. So hopefully he gets around 10, 12 points. Myers will get close to the same. I'm not going to give any edge here. I think it's pretty much even because of the matchup. This is pretty tough. Go down to the D's now. This is an unbelievable defense. Washington is great. Joe knew to even use him against Seattle last week. They can get a touchdown very easily on defense against Carolina. Carolina doesn't have McCaffrey playing either. But, it hurts a little bit. I think that the quarterback might be out. I don't know how much Washington's going to score. It's definitely a defensive game. They won't give up 350 yards. They won't give up 24 points. He's going to come out with a nice, healthy number from this game for sure. Anywhere between 10 and 20 points. Ravens are playing the Giants. the Ravens have been playing much better. The D is not what it was last year or even in the beginning of the season. The Giants really don't score that much. Very tough call on defense. If the quarterback was playing for Washington, I would actually give them the edge. Over here, I cannot give them the edge anymore. I don't know what they're going to do. So I'm just going to make that even as well. You look at the rest of the bench here. Kuti playing Cincinnati would have been maybe a fill-in for one of these three if you wanted to pick someone to slide him in. The Houston D, the top projected defense, according to CBS, could have been used here, possibly. I won't use him here because I'll just keep running with the Ravens against the Giants and really not take a risk. I don't know what could happen here. Could Cincinnati score and win? They did it against Pittsburgh. So I'll just leave that alone, but that's a D here. If you look at the bench, I don't think he's going to stop Mayfield. They do play the Jets. It's a nice matchup, but there's no way to farm with the bench Tannehill or Rodgers, obviously. He's got Zeke. If he plays, he's going to put him in. Claypool, Pittsburgh, decent. Deontay Johnson's the guy over there. Golladay is hurt still. Shepard is not startable, I don't think, against the Ravens. I don't know why you need Kmet when you have Fant. So none of this is really a consideration. So I think that when it comes down to it, it's pretty much a clean slate here. I don't really see any, ways of getting crazy amounts of points. He did get over 30 with Rodgers and over 30 with Tannehill last week. It could happen again this week. But the champs are heavily favored according to CBS. They're heavily favored according to the champ himself. That's the Super Bowl preview. You could draw your own conclusions, but a repeat is in the cards. Thank you, and enjoy the games.